guys, today I'm going to show you how to make some cute little pots. So I've already made some of these. I've made this one that I put a little air plant in. This one I did the inside as well for the most part. This one's kind of smoother than the other ones. This one I put some cute little succulents in. I like these little tiny pots, and I saw them, I just had to get a whole bunch of them. So these two, this one I only did a little bit of the inside because I knew I was going to be planting it. Okay, so you can see on the outside, can you see that there's a little bit of texture to it? This one kind of looks like it has more texture too. Can you see that? There's some spots where they're a little shinier too because I used a glaze on them. This is what they look like before, of course, just a little terracotta pot. So what I'm using is this CC Caldwell's. It's Tahoe taupe. So you could use any kind of taupey kind of color. It's very thick. I've had this for a long time. I use it for just kind of when I need a little bit of a darker color to blend into something. So like my pedestals, I keep a couple of my plants on. I use it for that and stuff. But now it's really thick, and so it's perfect for adding some texture. This is the chalk paint that's like at Walmart. I don't like this one as much as other whites because it's really cold. It definitely has a little bit of bluer tones to it. It's almost like has a little bit of green tones too. It's just not warm, and I like the warmer whites a little bit more. But this works just fine for what I'm making today. I also have this Sculpey glaze that I got for these little bowls that I made for planting things in and stuff. I made for like succulents or whatever. But I've been using this on these just because, so the terracotta is porous and it's going to make your paint, it's going to dissolve your paint away if you're going to be watering things in it. So what you need to do first is you need to get some paintbrushes and some paint and paint it. But also you need to decide if you want texture or not to it. I like a little bit of texture to mine, and so that's why I'm using this thicker one. If you have a chalk paint that's already kind of thick, then that should work. And you just kind of dab it on there a little bit and let it dry thicker, and then you can go over it. Otherwise, you could have some of this that you put in a separate little container and just let it get a little bit drier, I suppose, too. So anyways, it's also a good way to use up old paint too. What I was doing was I was just kind of going on this really lightly and then wiping it off. So go over it. And then you just wipe it off. And then if your paint dries really fast, then just have a damp cloth. You can wipe off even more.
Whoa, wipe off.
You're all red. You're playing good in the yard, huh?
Yeah, I was having a water slide.
You're having a water slide? You made a water slide? That's why.
And mud.
Yeah.
Happened.
Mud happened?
Yeah.
It just happened?
Yeah, when the water.
No, don't move the tripod. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how to do a little bit of texture. So a lot of the time the top of my lid is a little bit drier than the rest. So I have a little bit on here, and then I'm just stippling it on like this. See how there's a little bit of texture there now? And then get a little bit of the taupe and mix that in with it. is where I made it a little thicker. And then here I went on and I brushed on a little bit of the taupe. And then I wet distressed it just a little bit. So anyways, it's coming along. The trick is to be using a dry brush the whole time and to not get too much paint on your brush. So that's why I like to use the lid for this, that way it definitely only gets the top part. And I'm also using a thicker brush. It's tapered. It would be flat if it wasn't old and frayed. But okay, so I'm just going to the back and I'm connecting the sides. Also, I don't necessarily always do this, but you can just spray right onto it. And then that'll wipe off usually a little bit more, just depending. So see how that's taken off a lot of it? So I basically have my base now. Now I just need to add in some more texture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, you don't necessarily need to do it all in a specific pattern. But I kind of like how that looks. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just showed you this first stippling just to show you the first texture. And you don't have to do the texture like I do, but and you can always add as much or as little age as you want to with these, of course. It's your project, you know? See how the taupe isn't really going over all the white? The white's still coming through a little too much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the taupe a little bit with the white. Because the white is kind of the main color that I need. Because that shows that, you know, the calcification, all the minerals and things is the white part, right? The taupe is just there to give a little bit more age. So it's not that I'm trying to cover up the white so much as I'm just trying to do a little bit of age. So I kind of do the white and then the taupe and then the white and then a little bit more taupe if I think I need it. This is kind of a lot more than I was wanting. Of course, I kind of like to do a little bit more because then I can always take some off. And you can also sand it off too if you want to, but that's gonna take away some of your texture that you've achieved. And you can also use something that's more abrasive than just a paper towel. It's just, I keep paper towels and in my craft room, and so it's easy for me. See, I just took away a little bit of that in different spots. Because, you know, these kinds of pots and things, you clean them when they're outside anyways. And you clean off some of the calcification. So, you know, it just looks a little bit more realistic when it's not all just one thing. See, like this one is all painted all the way around because there's some of them that I like them to be for different rooms of my house. So these kind of go with my home decor a little bit more because they're extra painted. Like, they're just more white. They just can go with my, just go better. But I think that these look really cool too. Right here I have a pretty big bare space. So I'm going to just kind of show you just wiping it like that. See, so now there's even more. So when it goes over some texturized spots, it really does bring out some of the texture, like right here. Okay, so with the insides, it's gonna be a little bit different because if you want it to look like it actually is like this, then you're going to want to do it just to the point where your plants would actually be planted in here. Because where the soil is, it's just gonna be dirty, and then there's like naturally just a dirty crust right there. So if you, I mean, I like to make them look a little bit more natural, depending. So if I'm so like some of them I like to do a little bit if I don't know if I'm going to use it as an air plant or what, and then some of them that it just doesn't really matter either, just because I'm going to actually be planting things in this. So like this one, like I did make it a little bit dirtier right around there, but I'm planning on planting this up. So here's this one with my air plant in it. I didn't want it to be too crazy difference because I just didn't want to. So I got it a little bit darker further in. I didn't do quite as much, but I still did a little bit of the white in there, so that way, and the taupe, just so that way it gave it a little bit more color. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the taupe and I'm creating some texture around the edge. And I'm going to go over that with white.